A barber died over a dispute over a client. Let that sink in. I am a firm believer that this should never, ever happen. Ever. I don't believe barbers or stylists have ownership over a client. I do think the opposite is true, though. I do think a client can own a relationship with a barber or stylist because they are the ones that they hold the purse strings. So if a client says you are their barber or you are their stylist, that makes sense. But if you claim a client as your own, that is fuckery. That is buffoonery. That client does not owe you any sort of loyalty. You might feel any type of way, which is completely understandable if you think your rapport is better than it actually ended up being. But a client has every right to do with their money what they decide to do. So the idea that every time a client walks into a shop, they belong to you, that's just not how it works. And the idea that two grown adults would get into an argument or a dispute over that is asinine. I don't think there's any circumstances under the sun where I would put up a fight with another adult about a client. Now, if the client says, hey, I want to sit in your chair, and the other barber had an appointment with the client, that is a dispute. But it would be with the barber and that client, not with the two barbers. So for example, if a client books with me, but they say, oh, my bad, I made a mistake, I actually want to work with barber such and such, I would simply let the client know, hey man, no problem. Just go ahead and close me out real quick and you can be on your way. And that's as far as I would take that argument. Is that's cool. You book with me though. I need to get paid, but you can certainly get serviced by that barber or stylist and you can pay them as well for the services. But outside of that, we as barbers and stylists, we do not have ownership over any client. That is not how the game works. I actually got fired from the previous shop I managed over this very issue. I had a barber that was never on time and never in the building when he was supposed to be. He was, he was moving weight. He was doing other things. And he had this client that came in looking for him on time. And I was booked. So I couldn't just get this kid right away. But he's like, hey, man, I had an appointment with such and such. Can you get me? Because he's not here and he's like 30 minutes late. So I called the barber. The barber didn't answer me. I told the client, call the barber. He said, man, I've been texting and calling him. He ain't responded. I said, cool, no problem. I'll get with you once I free up. So I cut my next two clients. Then I took this kid. And to prove a point, I posted a picture of this client. Well, the barber that did not answer my call or the client's call is on social media. He sees that I posted the picture, calls the owner of the shop and tells the owner that I'm stealing clients. That is not theft. But the owner didn't like it. Now, he said something to me. I explained to him the situation. He sided with the barber. 2 weeks later, same client, same scenario. Barber is not in the shop when the client had the appointment. Client asked me if I can take him. I said, you're goddamn right I can. Cut the kid's hair. I posted the picture again to prove a point. Owner didn't like it. The barber didn't like it. But at the same time, I understand like each shop has their policies. I wasn't going for this one because that was so unprofessional. I agreed with the client. If the client wants to pay somebody, the client has a right to pay somebody. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments. Sean Cuts H on all social media.